Tonight's guests are Soren and Alienor, Prince and Princess of Oertha. And featuring a live performance by Brehyres, Gwendolyn the Graceful, from the Kingdom of Ethelmark. You smell that? That's either my aftershave or democracy dying. I'm your announcer, Master Bjorn of the Northern Sea. And here's your host, Master Laertes McBride.
Man, I'm a little concerned for Bjorn after that opening. Greetings and good evening. Hope everyone's doing well this evening on Election Day Eve. So, got a couple of things we want to get knocked out first. So, for all our regular viewers, just a special announcement that coming up in December, we're going to have a Yule special. And what that's going to be, we're going to have an opportunity for all the viewers to submit and join in on kind of the fun. So please go ahead and like our Facebook page, Live from Caid on Facebook, or be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we'll put announcements out for there, along with links for where you can upload some of the content that we're going to be asking for. So hopefully you'll be able to join in on the fun. But please, you'll find out about it if you go ahead and like our Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then secondly, I just want to say a month from today, on December 2nd, there's an opportunity to see, well, me in a different kind of presentation. So we'll have more details as it gets closer. But for now, I just want to share this one visual clue. So this might give you an idea of what's going on. But yeah, so let's keep an eye out for that. We'll have a little bit more details on that as it gets closer. And now let's go ahead and bring in Bjorn. And he's going to be here right about now. Hello, Bjorn.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Stress drinking, stress eating, and yeah, it's just hoping that this week doesn't end up in a conflagration.
Oh. That's a nice word, conflagration. So we just want to take this opportunity for those that haven't already voted, just to encourage you to go out, have your voice and opinion heard. Whatever it may be, go out and vote.
Absolutely. A couple of things to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that two things. If you have not mailed it in, your absentee ballot, do not mail it in at this point. Deliver it into a drop box in person. Second, if you are voting in person tomorrow, make a plan. Make certain that you have a buddy or that you have a phone. Make sure that you have some kind of beverage just in case lines get long. And finally, if you are there towards the end of the day, as long as you are in line, even after the polls officially close, stay in line. Law dictates that they have to finish the line even after the polls officially close. If you are in line, stay in line. No matter how long it takes, your voice is important and you need to be heard, especially now. So please, by all means, I would prefer it that you don't put yourself in that kind of situation. We have no idea what the kind of social distancing will be, but democracy is an important thing, and we just want to make sure that we continue to have it for the foreseeable future.
Yes, and I could say I went and voted 2 weekends ago, and it was straightforward, easy, flew right through. So hopefully that'll be the experience that everyone else has that's going to go vote in person between now and tomorrow evening. So, with that encouragement, Bjorn, what do you have for our arts and sciences highlights for this week?
Well, we have two things I was going to talk to you guys about. First things first, I hope that everyone had a fantastic Samhain or Halloween or All Hallows Eve this last weekend. In particular, the number of people who had rigged up shoots or pool skimmers or all kinds of things to get candy to the few intrepid or perhaps less than cerebrally advanced parents that were taking kids out in the middle of nowhere. Blessings be upon them. But those of you that made the t-shirt cannon, that fired the Rolos or the Reese's Pieces, I hope you did no permanent damage to anyone's hearing. That was fantastic. And now you can put that good work towards all of your fall and winter arts and sciences. One of the first things will be the Fall Ball Virtual. Now, this is going to be on Saturday, November 21st, and it's going to be from 3 p.m. Pacific time until about 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific time. And this is an online event, a kingdom level event here in the Kingdom of Caid. It is currently hosted by the Kingdom of Caid, and it is going to be talking about the fall and autumn and things that have to do with this particular season, this autumnal season. So what were you planning on wearing for autumn? What sort of seasonal things did you want to do? They're going to have an unconventional materials challenge to create a period item out of something that is not period. For example, that is one moment, please. I'm trying to see if I have some technical issues here. I don't.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine, Bjorn.
Very good. Just making sure. I had a little bit of a flicker. It seems like this last week or so, every couple of days, something else on my computer has decided that it has lived long enough and wished to die. But it wished to die in a very electronic and catastrophic fashion. And I'm beginning to grow weary because there's only so many things that can be replaced. As I was saying, the unconventional materials challenge is going to be where you take unconventional things, tinfoil, plastic, food wrappers, household items, and you want to make period items out of them. Perhaps a painting. Maybe you want to make something that looks like armor. They're going to have a ball challenge where you have a period item and you're going to come to a ball in it. There will have food challenges. Show folks your best subtlety. And then, of course, the thing that I'll be running later on is there's going to be a Autumn Bardic, which will have music, storytelling, all kinds of fun. And of course, there is a theme because it's Bardic in Caid, and that will be all things autumnal and the changing of the seasons. So storytellers, singers, musicians, poets, please bring all of your things to perform or participate in any way, or just to come by and listen. So the Fall Ball Virtual will be on Saturday, November 21st, and we're looking forward to having you with us. I will also bring this up again next week just to remind folks, because it's kind of the first kingdom level artsy thing that we've done in a while, and we just want to remind folks that now that things are getting a little darker, a little earlier, that there's still a lot of wonderful things to illuminate within the SCA. The second thing I wanted to talk about is this is a science portion for arts and sciences, and in particular, we are talking about, well, those of us that still get out there and work on our pels. Some people hit them. In my case, I'm still constructing one. But you are a heavy fighter, or you are someone that's working with one of the epoxy resin swords, or you're just working with a practice weapon or a hemo weapon, and maybe you want to work on something that is from one of the manuals, from the late period manuals. And to that end, one of the groups that is working on something like that has a program that is called Pandas on Parade. Now, we have within Caid a lovely transplant from the East. Master Allison is known as the Murder Panda. I'm not entirely certain how period that is, but, you know, it's 2020. Who knows? But at any rate, so they meet in the unofficial Caid Rapier Discord, and then they have a class, which there are a couple different angles that the cameras take, and they will be doing cut and thrust work. And it is primarily tactical cut and thrust for SCA combat. Now, this works for cut and thrust within the SCA, but a lot of these things also translate into historical Western martial arts, for those of you that are involved in that. And of course, a lot of this works for what some of us call hard suit, or for rattan combat. So going into the Discord server, if you go on to the Facebook page for the unofficial Caid Rapier and ask to talk to Master Lot, or Master Allison. They will get you hooked up with the necessaries. Otherwise, you wait until afterwards, and the actual classes themselves, after they have been edited and the 3 different camera angles are put into greater effect, will be posted on the Vineyard of Swords YouTube channel, where the various tactical cut and thrust videos are placed for your perusal. I had the opportunity to be in the Discord channel this last week and watch them do a really, really great class. And it was a lot about talking about, well, in a cut and thrust, remember, there is thrust. There's more than just the edge for this style of combat. And so it was a really, really fascinating program. We had some good folks in there asking a lot of great questions. And then, of course, that was edited and then placed on the YouTube channel later. Now, I bring up these things often because even though we have the virtual fighter practices in various portions of the web, and this is an arts and sciences channel, these are the arts of combat, and these are the sciences on how we in our modern Middle Ages practice these things. And it also just is a way for those of you that are just hitting the pal or just practicing on your drills or your footwork in the backyard to see how some other folks do it. And honestly, right now, any kind of seeing how other people do things or just being in a Discord channel with other human beings that like the things that you like, that grok the things that you grok, that's never a bad thing. So I highly recommend that. And those have been the 2 websites or endeavors that I wanted to talk about. And like I said, next week, we're going to talk about the Fall Ball Virtual again, or Virtual again. I think that at this time of year, as things start to get darker and things get a little spookier earlier on, being able to connect with people online, whether it's listening to music or doing research on something that particularly calls to you, if you can do that with other folks, other like-minded individuals, it just seems to make the distances that are between us by necessity not quite as great. So that's our arts and sciences for this week.
Nice, very nice. Lots of things. And yes, and the Vineyard of Swords has a lot of good resources, a lot of good videos, and it's a great opportunity to just listen to lots of talk.
Which, I mean, also great performer, so it's never a bad thing to hear
awesome.
him do that. Yeah.
And then the unconventional items, that'd be great. How about like human flesh? You could make some stuff out of human flesh. That'd be great. Keep with the Halloween theme, and then with the fall theme.
Well, a couple of months ago, we did talk about Master Tyvar Moondragon's skeleton with the rawhide to give the appearance of what an actual rapier would do. That's kind of like that, sort of.
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going with that, so I was a little concerned. Okay, so anyway, smooth transition. Who's our first guest this night?
We have their Highnesses of the Principality of Oertha visiting us from the Great North, and we're extremely fortunate to have them with us this evening. And I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say about their beautiful, beautiful area.
All right. Well, let's bring them in. These will be the first time we've had guests all the way from the Alaska time zone. I'm so used to being, being the Pacific time zone. I'm the one that's up the earliest. So. Hello, Your Highnesses. How are you?
Hello.
Yeah, so where in Oertha are you located at?
We are both in Anchorage, the barony of Ascalia.
Okay. And so Oertha is basically just the state of Alaska, is that?
Yes.
just the state of Alaska. So how many baronies and geopolitical units do y'all have up in your principality?
We have 3 baronies and 4 shires.
5, I thought. No, that's right, 4 shires and 1 canton, which is the most northernest SCA spot in the world.
Ooh, very nice.
I am going to butcher the name. Katavet. I can never say it right. It's It's a beautiful name, and I apologize, but it's Barrow, Alaska. And so, yeah, it is literally the tip of the north.
Wow. So it's above the Arctic Circle.
Yes,
is.
yes.
So they get the full day, full night.
Yep.
That show. It's awesome. So okay. So for the Principality, normally, because I know we're not normal times, is it like a 6-month reign, or do you follow the West with the 4 months, or how's it work?
No, we're a 6-month reign. We have coronets on the third weekend of January and June every year. I'm sorry, July. And you basically win on Saturday, you step up on Sunday. So it is, yeah, it's a you are thrown to the wolves.
Yeah. Good luck, punt.
Come to the tourney prepared to step up.
That's awesome. You don't have to stress about it. You're just done.
Yeah, basically you come prepped to win. Everybody has a small goodie basket, basically, just in case, and then we'll go from there. So this is our second reign, so we were a little bit more prepared and ready for that.
So it's normally a 6-month reign. So when did you all first step up?
The 23rd of January.
So they extended your run. It's like Broadway.
Yeah. So technically, yes, our first reign in 2017, we were 7 months because we extended an extra month because of the
Purgatorio.
For Purgatorio. So we had a 7 months reign then, and we kind of jokingly said, "Oh, yay, we're the longest prince and princess." And then 2020 happened.
Yeah, we beat our own record.
So
I don't know if that's a record you really want to beat, but congratulations.
no, it's not. I'd rather have the SCA the other way.
Yep, we had one event. We stepped up, went to one event, and then 2020.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, our crown stepped at that first weekend in January, and they're sticking around too. So long time. I'm sure the people in your principality appreciate the continuity, keeping things going, being engaged. So
I hope so. I hope that we are doing the best we can for our principality. Our officers have been the life and blood of everything through this, and so
rock stars.
Right, yeah, beyond rock stars. Without our officers and just our populace, it wouldn't have made it.
So what would you say is unique about playing the SCA in Oertha? That is like would be a different experience than us down here in Caid in Southern California.
So we fight outside to 20 below zero. Any colder than that.
We try not to.
We've certainly had coronet tourneys where it is that cold and you run in between fights and try to warm up when the consorts huddle around.
I think being able, if we do fight outside and it stays dark fast enough, I've been lucky enough to walk outside in our most northern barony, Winter's Gate, and seeing the Northern Lights. So to be at an event and see the Northern Lights is pretty special.
That sounds amazing. The fighting in negative 20 degrees, not so much, but the Northern Lights, yes. I mean, it gets like 60 here in Caid. We're like, oh, are we going to do it or not? Not sure. Okay, yeah, let's break out the heavy coats. We'll be fine.
That's a great summer day.
So, for the winter, do you still have a lot of outdoor events, or is it?
No, our events are mostly inside, but the fighting's usually outside. So the populace will dress up, put on our winter garbs, and go outside and fight, and then come back in.
We stop camping about Labor Day, and then everything moves indoors.
Now, for the outdoor events later in the year or earlier in the year, case may be, do y'all have cabins on sites and such? So you just kind of warm up and then run outside, like you said?
No, our winters, our summer events, we do a little bit of camping. There's probably 5 to 8 camping events a year. And everybody, we all have our tents. We bring them out and we camp. And you camp with wildlife. We've had bears, moose, foxes, bunnies. We've had anything that you can think of in camps.
Yeah, see, the biggest thing we have to worry about for Great Western War are the geese on site because they have an attitude.
These are no joke.
Dude, you're saying, oh, you know, bears and all that kind of stuff. The geese, that look of universal fears, you know, I could see it in your face.
Birds, man. Birds are mean.
Now, do y'all see a lot of like royal visits from the other part of the West?
Oertha has a wonderful tradition of hospitality, so we get quite a few visitors that actually come up and stay with us, particularly around coronets.
Yeah.
But Her Majesty was here when we stepped up, and
Yep. Yeah, we have been very blessed, very lucky the last several years to have royalty here for major events.
pretty consistently.
I'm usually really big about supporting Yule and hosting Yules here. And so we've been lucky and had royalty at a couple of Yules now too. So that's kind of fun. And being a giant stick jock, there's no fighting at my Yules. It's all arts and science, dancing. It's about being together and celebrating the year. So we love story time, have storytellers and bards and stuff. So we really bring in the Yule of it.
And cookies. He's leaving out his love of cookies.
Well, who doesn't like cookies? I mean, come on.
Yes.
I'm one of those weird ones that like oatmeal raisin cookies, not oatmeal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies just don't do it for me.
It's good.
So now, have y'all had? Do they do like a crown tournament up in Oertha very often?
In 2019, we held the first out of Central Kingdom Crown Tournament. So we had, I don't know, close to 50 fighters.
There was, there was 27 fighters.
Oh, that was with the consorts too, yeah.
Yeah, with consorts. So there was 27 fighters. There was about 400 people, I think, total at the June Crown. So it was a lot of work for the stewards. A lot of prep. 2 years almost of prep.
Yep.
So it was a very hard thing to do, but it was rewarding. It was an outstanding event. Beautiful weather, and I would love to see it again in a couple of years.
After we're rested.
Now, would you say that's probably one of your largest events y'all have had?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
We had people come out of the woodwork who hadn't played in quite a long time that came out for Crown.
Yeah, we had a lot of visitors from Central, from other kingdoms as well. So it was pretty grand.
And we're hosting PPF Beyond the Wall next year.
Yep. So yeah, 2 weeks ago we were supposed to have an event called it's not Perfect Period Feast, it's Plausible Period Feast. It was above the Beyond the Wall. It was a I'm gonna
10th century event.
Yep.
And they've rented just a beautiful hall. It's going to be like one of the native museums. So it's a longhouse reproduction. So we're quite looking forward to that. I think there's going to be some neat visitors.
Yeah, that one's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, do y'all see any members of the populace that are recreating the society and lifestyles in your local area in the SCA, or are they still mainly just a European type of?
Yeah, no one's got any really property to build like longhouses and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or even garb and persona.
Oh yeah, we've got lots of. We range all over, all the way from we have Romans all the way up into 15th, 16th century, 17th century fencing and garb. So we are very widely based here. It's a lot of fun.
Right, and I'm just wondering if for the local customs and.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah. No, not really. There was a gentleman years ago when I first joined in 2002 who was trying to build a native set, and he came and life took him away. But yeah, right. We're European-ish with a little bit of the side taste. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, I got a couple of things I just got to ask.
Yeah.
Well, this will be like a speed round. Okay, so can you see Russia from your front porch?
No, but I only have a 2-story igloo.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Do your school books have the riddle about why you'll never see polar bears eating penguins?
No.
No.
Oh, well, they do that all the time here. It's like, well, penguins are at the South Pole. So, and then let's see. And do you get excited about movies set in Alaska that don't feature murderers, dog sleds, or blizzards?
Yes, and we like to watch the movies and be like, that's not what Sitka looks like.
Yeah.
That's obviously Maine.
Yep. Oh, Victoria.
Yes, that's what we were taught about Alaska growing up in Texas. So that, and if you melt Alaska, then Texas is once again the biggest state. That was the other thing they always told us.
Well, yeah, but if you cut Alaska in half, then it makes Texas number 3.
We won't tell people from Onstjord that. So, and this is the point of the evening where Bjorn comes in and asks much better questions than I am. So I'll
Those are great questions.
bring in Bjorn. Just a moment.
Your Highnesses, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you talk about Barony of Wintersgate. People talk about how there are baronies. There are geographical locations in the Midwest where you'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles in between groups. That's nothing new. Or here in Caid, we have one of the largest landlocked baronies, and that the barony of Drybergen, which comprises San Bernardino and Riverside counties, goes all the way to the Arizona and Nevada borders, and then all the way past like Death Valley. So it's contiguously a large tract of land out here. However, as I understand it, Barony of Wintersgate, that's all the way to the North Pole, the Bering Strait. Doesn't that also encompass technically parts of Russia as well?
Well, it depends on which side of the border you're on. We tried to take a little bit of on tier, but that didn't work.
I see.
Yeah, there's nothing of Russia in us, no.
What about Big Diomede Island?
I don't know the answer to
Because
that.
I heard a story that there's a quarter inch of sand that is visible on the easternmost edge of Diomede Island in Russia that somehow got hooked in during one of the last map writing sessions that belongs to the Barony of Wintersgate. Because if that's true, then not only do you guys have all of that water up there that's not being covered by Avicol or Antir, but it's also you may not be able to see Russia from your house, but someone in Wintergate might actually have a house there. So
That completely sounds like something Her Excellency Morgana would have orchestrated.
Yeah, and I support it.
I had thought your Highnesses might. The other thing I wanted to ask is that would you mind briefly informing people that wish to come and visit your wonderful principality, how can you prepare them for a certain plane landing to one of your airports?
So you're speaking of Erangel.
I might just be, yes, sir. Having done it, would you mind?
Yes. Don't look out the window and tighten your seatbelt.
Erangel is right against the mountain, so you come what appears to be directly into the side of the mountain, and they pull the flaps up real hard and you land.
They didn't inform us that. When I landed there, they didn't really let us know. And it did look as if we were going to all suffer from deceleration trauma. Yeah.
They've only lost one plane there in like 30 years.
So
they didn't let us know that either. So
I actually found flying in the Dutch harbor scarier. Because you're flying over water, then you're flying through mountains that are just on both sides of you in the pass, and the plane banks a hard left, and the nose comes down, and you land, and there's one strip. And if you go, if you're short, you're in the bank, you're in the water. If you go long, you're in the water.
One last thing I wanted to ask is, obviously there are some people that will make a trek through Canada along their interstates to get to your principality, but the vast majority of people will fly. How many months out of the year are flights into Oertha something that non-Oerthans typically do?
You fly in year round. Anchorage is our main hub. And so Anchorage, Fairbanks are all major cities, and there's flights year round easily.
Yep, a couple times a day on Alaska Airlines. We've had visitors in January and December, and
yep. They've come in on Delta. They've come in
United.
United. Those are the majors that fly in here year round. JetBlue and a couple of the others. What's it, Divergent or whatever? They start flying in this year.
Only in the summer though.
Yeah.
Oh, your Highnesses, I certainly don't doubt that Oerthans or people from Alaska do that all the time, but for folks not of your sturdier stock.
we have warm food, warm house, warm hearts, and cold brew. So just come, bring garb, and we'll let us know you're coming, and we'll take care of you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Your Highnesses.
Thank you.
All right, so now we come to the part of the show which we enjoy and the guests usually don't. Now we're going to do trivia. So, Bjorn, what are we calling the trivia game tonight?
The game for this evening is tonight we're going to party like it's $15.99.
We're screwed.
Oh no!
So, Prince and Princess. I figured I could give you a description of famous prince or princesses, and you can name who they are. No, there's no. You know who cheated on us was the Society Marshal of all people. I had him. He'd done the job for 4 years. I just asked him to name all the kingdoms. He couldn't do without cheating. So still calling Alan that. Okay, so we'll start easy, and you can look at the comments. People will try to help you out too. Okay, so here's the first one. Is when you first meet this prince, he arrives with a parade. This prince is mighty and is as strong as 10 regular men. He's quite animated too.
I don't know, $15.99 is pretty late.
Yeah, that is pretty.
It's all make believe. It's not going to be.
I don't know. I'm 14th century and I died then. So
it has nothing to do with the time period.
Oh.
So, it looks like Baron Nico knows who it is. It's Prince Ali, mighty as he, Ali Abab from Aladdin.
I thought of that because of the Three Barons Fair.
Yeah, okay, so, here's one I'm sure His Highness is going to know. She is the Princess of Friendship. She conjured up the first new magic in the history of Equestria, and she was originally a unicorn. Which princess is that?
Is that the last unicorn?
Yes, and I can't think of it right now. It's been years since I watched that.
Okay. Well, it's Princess Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony.
Oh,
My Little Pony.
Yeah.
I
collected those. I'm sorry.
I figured His Highness would know. Okay, so here's an easier one.
Throwing us softballs now.
This is the evil Prince of England, who's assisted by the Sheriff of Nottingham and Sir Guy of Gisborne.
Prince John.
That is correct. There you go. We got one.
We're not losing.
You're doing better than your disaster coordinator. Yeah, got that. Okay, here's another one. This princess is sometimes referred to as Space Mom, and the princess's home world went out with a bang.
To me, she will always be royalty, and that's Alea.
That is true. You're on a roll. Okay. Gets a little bit harder now. Okay. This chronically depressed prince was so riddled with despair, he started seeing ghosts and even killed his best friend.
Macbeth?
No.
Oh, someone said it. I heard. Oh, Gwendolyn said it. But you can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah. No,
You know what? Laertes even makes an appearance in it and dies at the end, like everyone else.
Hamlet.
Nico's on a roll. It's Hamlet.
ah,
Okay.
She,
So this
Her
one,
Highness did in fact say Hamlet. So
I'll give you triple bonus points if you can get this one. Because I don't mean anything.
42.
Oh my gosh. My daughter just read Hitchhiker's. Okay, even though she is better known by her relationship to her two brothers, she is a princess in her own right. And again, she's quite animated too.
An animated princess.
The two brothers animated.
She's being revived this month, actually. Her show is.
It's Mulan.
No, sorry. It is Dot of the Warner Brothers and their sister Dot.
Oh, that's right.
Animaniacs.
That's
Her
right.
full name. Her full name is.
Disney owned, yeah.
Full name is Princess Angelina Contessa Luisa Francisca Bananafana Bobesca III. So, see, I want to give you triple, quadruple points if you got that.
How could we not have known that?
No.
So, you know how she got the name Dot, right? It was because if you look at the name Warner Brothers, it says Warner Brothers, and at the end of the brothers, there's a dot at the end.
Not at the end.
So it's Warner Brothers and their sister Dot. So anyway, thank you for putting up with that. You did pretty good. You got a few.
We did okay. We did 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it's still passing grade, but hey. Anyway, I want to thank you both for taking time out and just kind of sharing what it's like, the experience that's unique up in Oertha compared to outside in California.
We can sit here all night and try to tell you that. The best thing I can say is just come up. Seriously, just pick a time. I always say summer cornets are the best. It's either going to be the most beautiful scene or the most rainiest you've ever been at. But come up and enjoy Oertha, enjoy the West Kingdom, because that's what you'll get here.
Well, that's awesome, and it sounds beautiful. Well, when things change, we will maybe take you up on the offer. But good luck on your continuing reign, and hopefully there'll be a resolve sometime soon. But thank you for your continued service. Thank you for your time this evening. It was a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All righty. Well, we'll put you over in timeout for a little bit and bring back Bjorn. Thank you again.
And I'm very fortunate I get a chance to talk to him just about every week during the after Discord channel for Between Two Peers, and so His Highness is on, and we sort of get a chance to talk about having been in the SCA for a while and how things are going on up there. So it's he and his lovely lady wife are just absolutely charming, and it was very, very, very wonderful for them to join us.
And for them putting up with me, I mean, come on,
Yes,
that's a positive too. But no, it was fascinating, and I would love to go up and see the Northern Lights and chase some polar bears.
I went up there for family. I didn't actually go up for the SCA. And at the time I was so young, I didn't know that the SCA was up there. And gosh, I wish I had. I would love to have seen it. That would be amazing.
Nothing sounds more enticing than fighting in negative 20-degree weather. Anyway, I don't have any padding. So who do we have coming up now, Bjorn?
We have Brehyres, Gwendolyn the Graceful. She is a Laurel from Ethelmark and an amazing performer. We're exceptionally pleased to have her with us, and we're very fortunate. And she's going to be performing for us this evening.
All righty. Well, let's bring her on. And she'll be here in just one moment. Hello.
Hello. I think we've
had a little technical issues going
lot
back
of technical issues.
So hopefully this will be stable during performance. And if not, we'll just hang out till you come back.
We need everybody to just keep their fingers crossed and good thoughts that the internet does not cut out on my end. So
well, welcome. As we were talking earlier, I think you're the first guest from the most difficult to spell kingdom of the known world. So where in Ethelmark are you?
So I am in the Barony March of the Debatable Lands, which is the Pittsburgh area mundanely, otherwise known as 45 minutes from Penzic.
Yes, it's known as the place I fly into for Pinto.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
So how long have you been in the SCA?
So I've actually been, what year is it? I've been in the SCA for 30, this will be 31 years that I've been in the SCA as of this fall.
Wow.
So yeah.
And all within
no, I actually started in the mid realm. I joined the SCA in my college shire, which was the March of the Thistle in Ohio. And I started playing in the Barony of Thescor, which was my actual home barony where I grew up in Rochester, New York. And then I lived in Indiana for a year after I finished college. So that was the Shire of Minneseren. Came back to Thescor, was there for several years. And then I moved mundanely to outside of the Boston area, but I have always been an Ethelmartian in my heart ever since then. And so I was a subject of Greater Ethelmark for years and finally came home about 6 years ago, came back to the Pittsburgh area.
So was the opportunity to perform what drew you into the SCA, or how did that really come about?
Well, I was a theater major, so always wanted to perform, and been a lifelong geek, D&D player, all of those things. In the mid-realm, I was actually more of a dancer than a bard, because there really wasn't a whole lot of bardic where I was getting active in the SCA. I didn't really start doing the bardic thing until I moved back to Thescor, and then it kind of took off, and I wrote songs that apparently weren't totally awful, and there you go.
So does Ethelmark have a strong history of bardic performances and supporting the arts?
Very, very strong artistic history. Absolutely. Very strong history of the arts. The bardic kind of waxes and wanes depending on how you slice it. And there are those of us who will argue this a little bit. I am actually the first and only laurel from the kingdom that was given in the kingdom of Ethelmark that is specifically for bardic arts. Others who are exceptional bards have technically gotten theirs for Norse studies or storytelling or poetry or so on. Mine is actually bardic arts. And we do have other bardic arts laurels, but they were awarded in kingdoms that were not Ethelmark at the time.
Oh, well,
so there you go.
Well, congratulations. So you want to tell us
There
about
are only a few of us.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yours one of two, so you know. So what can you tell us about the piece you're going to perform this evening?
So the piece I'm going to perform is called Four Sails, and it was actually written for the Barony of Delftwood, which is mundanely the Syracuse area. The funny story behind it is I actually founded the Ethelmark College of Bards when we went kingdom. And then, as I said, I went away. I came home, won the bardic competition, and then forgot to take home the banner from the competition, the banner that I had actually made myself 20 years ago that I just won. Forgot it. Yeah. So they held it ransom, and which is fair. and I wrote this song for them in exchange for that banner. And then afterward, we'll talk a little bit more about what it's about.
Awesome.
So all the awards that you're gonna some of the words that you're gonna hear, their symbol is a windmill, and so all of the words that are funny in the song are the names of their awards. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
To the north there are fields where the wind blows steady and strong, and the people build towers with sails that turn and spin. Each arm of the pinwheel dips down and rises again. But to generate power, the sails must face into the wind. 4 sails and a tower supporting them. 4 sails and a capstan to spin. 4 sails, 4 pillars of industry, but for the millstone to spin. The sails must face into the wind. Each sail's like a branch of service or artistry fine, of prowess and victory or hospitality warm. Each tower a place where a traveler weary might rest. But to light up the night, the sails must face into the storm. 4 sails and a tower supporting them. 4 sails and a capstan to spin. 4 sails, 4 pillars of industry, but for the millstone to spin. The sails must face into the wind. The windmill's 4 sails swing high like the triumph of kings, or descend to the depths as adversity claims its share. But each time they fall, they rise up again, so long as the tower can stand, and the sails face the mistral's cold air. 4 sails and a tower supporting them. 4 sails and a capstan to spin. 4 sails, 4 pillars of industry, but for the millstone to spin. The sails must face into the wind, and for the windmill to spin, the sails must face into the wind.
Wow. All right. Wow, that was amazing. I have chills. Your voice.
Thank you.
Felt like I'm on Broadway. I think Bjorn wants to come in and say a couple of things right quick. You can tell us about that piece.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, first, cousin, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
You enjoy your voice tremendously, and in particular, 4 sails. We talked about this earlier. I confess that I asked for. I specifically sort of jumped to ask you to perform something for our current circumstances in the world, in our land right now.
Yeah.
And so if you wouldn't mind just how this relates for you personally, what we're going through right now, if you don't mind. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, not at all. So like I said, they had actually asked for a praise song. But at the time, the barony of Delftwood had, in the space of about a month, lost 3 long-standing, hardworking, just bedrock members of their barony. And some of them went expectedly, and some of them went very unexpectedly. And I think we can all kind of relate to that right now. I don't think that anyone in our group or anyone in the country has been completely unaffected by the virus, by some other issues that are happening around the virus, and people who have been unable to get access to care, or people who have, had other issues that have been exacerbated by coronavirus, by anything like that. And then obviously the fact that we are, as you two were talking about earlier, on the eve of probably the most important election of our lives. I kept saying to them, this isn't the song that you asked for, but this is the song that you need. And the more that I researched windmills and discovered that, yes, in fact, some things you just have to go through. You have to face it. You have to withstand it. And we all need to get through this.
I wanted to thank you very much, because when you very graciously accepted my humble, well, I'm never that humble, but my request to, I saw you shake your head, Laertes, to perform the piece. I'm so very thankful, because it does mean so very much to talk about. There's things that have to be gone through, and things that have to,
That just have to be endured.
Indeed. But also because your voice is such a beautiful vessel for the sentiment. And I just wanted to thank you again for sharing your gift with us on election eve, as perhaps the last bardic folks will hear before the world changes tomorrow. And
let's hope the world changes.
I just wanted to thank you again, cousin, so very much for sharing with us.
My very great pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And I know it's a little bit later for you, so I appreciate it.
That's okay.
And an amazing performance. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, thank you all.
We will have the opportunity to cross paths in a real situation instead of virtual, and be able to share stories. So thank you so much. You have a great evening.
Thank you. You as well. Stay safe, everyone.
Wow. Man, that was a good one.
Yes. I am many times when a performer graces our show with their gift, we've both said, just do what you like, do what makes you happy, do what you think, or in some cases, what do you think that people want to hear, or how best do you want to display your gift, your talent, your voice, what have you. But in this instance, I specifically asked Gwendolyn if she would do something for the message for tomorrow. And I have no regrets. I did it specifically for a point, and her voice is magnificent and her gifts are fantastic. And so I am glad that we got a chance to hear it, because it is a piece that's not often heard off of that end of the world. So to hear it out here, I was very, very happy that we were able to do that.
Yeah, amazing. So looking ahead, of course, we know what's going on tomorrow, but next week, guest is going to be the Society Jaffa officer. She will be here to talk about what the Jaffa program is, how they're reaching out to the youth in the SCA, encouraging and helping them expand their horizons. And then the week after that, their Majesties of Caid will be joining us to kind of give us an update of what's going on, show off their new house, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of have a little update. And I'm sure we're going to have some fantastic bardic performances coming up.
Once again, the other side of the world, the eastern coast, seems to be chomping at the bit to share their gifts. And who am I to deny them the desire to stay up 3 hours past their usual bedtimes? So of course, come play. So that's going to be happening the next couple of weeks.
Great. And just a reminder, two things. One, please either like the Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get the update for when we put the call out for anyone that wants to help partake for our Yule special. And with all that frivolity out of the way, once again, please go vote.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Also, once again on the YouTube thing, when we get enough people that subscribe, eventually we can actually change the name of the YouTube channel from a series of letters that are uppercase and lowercase to something that just says like Live from Caid, and you have to have like 100 subscribers to do that. I'm sure we have enough folks to watch the show eventually, so jump over there and let me do the influencer thing. Like, subscribe, smash that like button, hit the bell for notifications, etc., etc. It's not like I haven't done that
You're
before.
so hip with the lingo.
Thank you. I've done that before. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Bjorn, again for being here this week.
Thank you, Laertes.
Oh, no worries. And everyone, don't forget, we'll be back next week when once again we will be live from Caid.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you then. Goodbye.